as several poor people and middle class people go to church on Sunday to pray so that God can help them overcome their daily life problems, politicians have always used these platforms to sell their political agendas. Ladies and gentlemen, well, this is a political recap of the 15th of June 2025. Well, starting with none other than Edwin Shifuna. Edwin Shifuna, known for known for being anti-broad-based government, which in this case, he always liked referring to it as a broad-based government, echoed and called on President Ruto and Eliud Lagat to give proper details pertaining the death of none other than Albert Ojwang. Well, here is the tape.
Mahali tumefika Kenya hii, we want action, we don't want words. Na nataka niseme, for me, ukiniuliza kama Sifuna, ule mkataba tuliandika na UDA is of no use as I speak today. Haina kazi hiyo mkataba. Kwa sababu inawezekanaje tunaandikishana tuseme hamtaua vijana. Kijana anachukuliwa kutoka kwao, anapelekwa mpaka Nairobi, anawawa kwa seli. Juzi tumeona wengine wawili wamechukuliwa Elgeyo Marakwet. Wamepigwa, wamekatwa mikono, wamerushwa kule Nakuru. Mwingine amekufa kwenye police station ya Katitu hapa juzi. Na ndio maana nasema hiyo mkataba haina maana. Mahali imefika, it doesn't matter what else Ruto does. It doesn't matter what else he does. That agreement is dead. It is dead. The only way you can breathe life into that agreement ni urudishe uhai wa Albert na vijana wengine ambao wameuawa hapa mbele.
Gladys Wanga also yesterday was not left outside after he also echoed and seriously called on President Ruto to call on board after he called on President Ruto to give full detail and make sure that he arrests the people who led to unaliving of none other than Albert Ojwang. Well, this is ODM party chairman Gladys Wanga seriously lamenting to President Ruto and giving him demands of what they signed, reminding him of a memorandum that ODM signed with the Kenya Kwanza administration. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the tape.
We had just come from Homa Bay. Adui said it here. We had a wonderful function. Very successful Madaraka Day. It did not take 4 days. Did not take 5 days before a young man from Homa Bay by the name of Albert Ojwang found himself in the hands of rogue police who ended up murdering him. What do we call that? From Homa Bay. We had just come from Homa Bay. This young man, also now from Homa Bay, suffering in the hands of rogue police. And what I'd like to say has already been said. We want justice expedited. We don't want it by word. And we have seen people being taken, being arrested, being charged. What we want is to be told what Kenyans are looking for. Who orchestrated this murder?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what does these two statements mean? Well, according to me, after doing my own personal research, I finally came to a conclusion that justice for Albert Ojwang simply now means that Ruto must go. Well, over the few days, the hashtag Ruto must go have not been trending the same way that people have been using it. And Kenyans, truth be said, is that Kenyans always go with something that is trending. And if by any chance, I always say that the Kenyan Gen Zs are the people who will either go to vote in 2027 because it is either trending or they will not go to vote. Come, either trend. So, ladies and gentlemen, being that the hashtag Justice for Ojwang and hashtag Lagatman resign are the trending hashtags in Kenya, these hashtags are being used to send message to President Ruto and the KK and the broad-based government. Secondly, Laduma Munyoro aka Rigathi Gachagua also called on President Ruto or exposed him, saying that when he was the deputy president of this country, President Ruto did not want him to walk with his wife. You know, here is the tape.
Na huyu Pastor Docas, mnamjua? Niliona juzi watu ya Ruto wakilalamika ati kwa nini mimi natembea na yeye. Sasa wanataka kunipangia mpaka vile nitaka na bibi yangu. You know. Unajua these people waliniumiza mimi sana na huyu mama nikiwa ofisini, because William Ruto hakutaka nitembee na mama kanisani akiweko. Akaniambia protocol is only right that when he is with his wife is when I should be with mine. So ikakuwa ati mama akitaka kutembea na mimi lazima tuulize kama bibi ya Ruto watakuwa hapo. So mimi nilipenda kutembea na bibi yangu for 35 years, nikafungiwa karibu mwaka 2. Sasa hii nimetoka, simwache nitembee na yeye. Sasa nimeona hii watu ya Ruto
wanalala. Saying and responding to William Samoei Ruto, I then asked myself, why was it that President William Samoei Ruto did not want Rigathi Gachagua to walk with him, to be accompanied with the wife whenever there were these public events? Ladies and gentlemen, the first reason is, in African setups, we always understand that a good leadership setups always begin with the family. And the truth be said is that in several occasions, a person in several African setups, a person who does not even have a wife should not even be given leadership role anywhere. Well, I think that President William Samoei Ruto was just trying to sugarcoat the fact that maybe his wife does not love to work with him, and you see, whatever. And in Africa, you just know that a person who cannot control and manage to raise his family, huyo mtu walai kusema kweli hakuna pali anaenda. The second reason is William Samoei Ruto, kuna kuoga na rumors hapa Kenya, and in Kenya rumors didn't spread hata kushida wildfire, si ndio? So being that he understood very well that kama bibi yake Rigathi Gachagua anatembea na bibi yake kila siku, and for him he does not have a wife, ladies and gentlemen, people wangesema aje ni kama amewachwa. Na ikiendelea hivyo, you remember the State House slap yenye ile trend, the rumors that Kithure Kindiki was slapped with none other than Farouk Kibet. You just saw how that thing trended. And if by any chance that might be the main reason why President William Samoei Ruto alikuwa nakataa Rigathi Gachagua asitembee na bibi yake during these events. Well, thirdly, President William Samoei Ruto also said that he is not willing to leave power to Rigathi Gachagua and the opposition as a whole. Well, in this case, we know that opposition contain Kalonzo, Gachagua, Martha Karua, and all those Jubilee Brigade. Ladies and gentlemen, why were these statements contradictory? Well, here is the tape. Ladies and gentlemen,
hawa watu wengine hawana mpango, musipoteze na we cannot hand over to people hawana mpango. Ati mpango yao Ruto must go. Sasa Ruto must go itakusaidia na nini? Hujui vile vijana wetu watapata kazi, hujui vile kilimo itaendelea, hujui vile watoto watasoma, huna mpango ya ajira ya vijana, you have no plan to do anything. Alafu ni mtakubali hii story yao watu ambao hawana mpango yoyote. Ati kazi yao kubwa ni ukabila, shares, sijui ya nani, sijui chuki, sijui kisirani. Hata mwangalia wakiongea, wanaongea na kisirani mingi sana. Ni kama sijui nani aliwakosea. Na kama wako na kisirani na mimi, wawachane na Wakenya wakuje tukutane kando huko. Kama namna gani? Nitawamalizia pale kando wao watu.
I think that the last time that I had this was during the time of Moi, when Moi failed and said during the time of Moi, when Moi refused to leave power. Maybe the challenging man is also trying to tell us that he is not quitting office anytime soon. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know thoughts in the comment section. What is your take pertaining these trending stories, these trending political dramas that happened on 15th June 2025? At last, I was your host, Silas. Till next video. Bye-bye.